In tonight's Fact or Fiction, we're looking into another claim, The Simpsons predicting the future.
Famous for its predictions that have come true, most recently the prediction of Donald Trump's return, The Simpsons continues to amaze and spark skepticism worldwide about who is truly behind this prophetic animated series. As 2025 approaches, the predictions of these yellow characters are once again drawing significant attention. And we believe that if you are a fan of this renowned series, you definitely won't want to miss our video, as these predictions will leave everyone speechless. World War III. A photo of Homer Simpson standing next to a television that shows a breaking news sign next to the Israeli flag. A blast as well as 2025 claimed to be taken from one of the episodes of the famous American series. The phrase, "Global Conflict World War III," was also spotted in the photo of the Simpsons series. The picture was trending following the Iranian attack against Israel. The whole world began to become shocked. What the heck is going on? Could it be that the Simpsons can make predictions in such detail and close to reality? However, social media users and experts confirmed that the photo isn't true. It was edited from one of the episodes of the Simpsons American series. Although this photo is not real, it is true that The Simpsons once predicted World War III. On November 22, 1987, a special episode of The Simpsons aired on The Tracy Ullman Show. Although it was very hilarious, there might be a hidden message in there somewhere. The episode centers around Homer Simpson repeatedly pranking his family with World War III scares many times during the episode. He would wake them up asking them to rush into the fallout shelter as if it was the end of the world. This episode was considered satire on the eventual occasion that a serious conflict between the world powers begins to play out. If we put it into the current context, we will see that these predictions are not unfounded. Tensions in the Middle East have flared dramatically after Iran launched a direct military attack on Israel. This marks the first confrontation between the two countries in the past 45 years. World leaders and the United Nations have jointly condemned Iran's strikes on Israel, warning that the attack could further destabilize the entire region. Following Iran's missile strikes on Israel, the Prime Minister and Defense Minister of Israel emphasized that Israel will achieve victory after confronting Iran's drones and missiles. This ongoing conflict in the Middle East has sparked fears we could soon see World War III. It comes as Israel and Iran seem ready to go head-to-head. There has been tension between the two for decades after the revolution of Iran back in 1979, with Iran's ruling mullahs often chanting "death to Israel" and denying it exists. Despite this, they've never attacked Israel directly until now. Some experts believe it will be the AI war, where controlled missiles and drones will play a bigger role than manned aircraft. This also leads us to the prediction of The Simpsons. Let me take you on a journey back to episode 17 of the series' 23rd season. In this episode, there's a scene where Homer lost his job due to the fact that his employer replaced all the human employees with robots. Well, considering the military strides and the link to the development of artificial intelligence, is the future of AI replacing humans doing terrible things coming very close? So, Homer Simpson, waking up his family members and telling them to quickly run to the shelter because World War III is approaching, is also a theory worth considering. But not only The Simpsons, but the prophetic musings of Nostradamus are also receiving the most attention. Nostradamus is known as the prophet of doom, and his predictions have often sent shivers down people's spines. In his book, Les Prophéties, Nostradamus made some terrifying predictions for the year 2025, and some of them have already come true while others are in progress. For instance, he predicted a terrible naval war that the world will witness in 2025. One of the translated verses reads, "Red adversary will become pale with fear, putting the great ocean in dread." There are some opinions that the particular statement is related to the tensions between China and Taiwan, but recent attacks by the Houthis on ships in the Red Sea look more relevant. The series of conflicts in the nearby regions have seriously hampered international trade, especially in the Red Sea-dependent oil industry. Additionally, Iran's attack on Israel has added another layer of complexity, further destabilizing the condition of the Middle East. What is happening in the Middle East makes the whole world unable to help but think about the prospect of war. Let's take a look at the whole world to see if we are near a world war or not. Russia-Ukraine conflict was described as more dangerous than anything Europe has seen since the end of World War II. It has triggered the worst crisis in Russia's relations with the West since the 1962 Cuban Missile Crisis. And the complicated relationship between the two countries shows no signs of cooling down until now. China. It has long been assumed that the greatest threat to geopolitical stability is the growing tension between China and the US in recent years, most notably over Taiwan and the question of its sovereignty. Beijing sees the island nation as an integral part of a unified Chinese territory. At the same time, the US has ramped up its support, financially, militarily, and rhetorically, for Taiwan's continued independence. North Korea. Since talks with Trump in 2019 broke down over disagreements about international sanctions on Pyongyang, Kim Jong-un has focused on modernizing his nuclear and missile arsenals. North Korea is a silent military giant. We won't know what will happen until this country wants it to happen. And of course, there is no peace during this period. A quick point for us to realize the fact that anywhere in the world, on almost every continent, conflicts still exist and seem to show no signs of cooling down. If this tense situation continues for a long time and is at risk of escalating, then of course, a scenario that no one wants will happen. Of course, no one wants this scenario to happen at all. Another wild prediction is space travel for the common people. In the episode titled Deep Space Homer, fans of The Simpsons hail its guest stars, astronaut Buzz Aldrin and musician James Taylor. In it, NASA decides to send an average Joe to space to boost its ratings. They select Homer, and he becomes the first ordinary human to go to space. Today, the idea of anyone in the world jetting off to space has become more commonplace and achievable. At its core are civilian programs that fulfill the spaceflight dreams of paying customers, thereby boosting what has come to be known as space tourism. The first space tourist was American aerospace engineer and financial analyst Dennis Tito, who paid Russia USD $20 million to fly aboard a Soyuz spacecraft to the International Space Station in 2001 at the age of 60. Several other civilians have flown to space since. Exactly 20 years after Tito's flight, Elon Musk-owned private space agency SpaceX successfully sent the world's first all-civilian mission to space. Also related to the universe, in Season 27, Episode 16, The Marge-Ian Chronicles, Marge and Lisa volunteer themselves to be among the first humans to fly to and live on Mars. This is done with Exploration Inc., the private firm that hopes to send people to colonize Mars by 2026. And as the episode ends, Marge and Lisa live on Mars together in 2050. In the real world, Elon Musk's SpaceX has a goal to go to Mars, and it had previously been planned that we could already achieve it by now, though this hasn't happened yet. In addition, Musk also wants to colonize Mars. The US and China relationship. The Simpsons have also portrayed a nuclear war breaking about between the US and China that fans say could become true this year. We hope it doesn't become true ever. But this one is a bit easy assumption since the friction between a superpower and an emerging superpower is expected. Even as most Chinese support stabilizing ties with the United States, the entrenched view in Beijing and across the broader Chinese public remains that the US desire to preserve its global hegemony is depriving China's right to develop, and that no amount of reassurance from Chinese leaders or a change in US administrations will shift Washington's basic direction. Both political systems understand clearly that the other side is unlikely to budge on key issues. Beijing wants Washington to drop export controls on advanced chips sanctions on Chinese companies like Huawei and tariffs on Chinese imports, to curb its support for Taiwan, and to stop criticizing China's human rights record. Washington wants China to stop coercively advancing its claims vis-à-vis Taiwan and in the East and South China Seas, to curtail its unfair trade policies and non-market economic practices, and to drop its strategic partnership with Russia. There is zero chance Beijing or Washington will concede to the other's demands in the foreseeable future. And once Trump returns, the relationship between the US and China will once again become a topic of global attention: the economic collapse. In 2000s, The Simpsons was on air an episode titled Bart to the Future, depicting an economic collapse during a fictional presidency of Donald Trump. Now, the prediction Trump become America president is coming true. How about the economic collapse? Also, in this episode, Lisa Simpson inherits a deeply troubled economy after President Trump leaves office, forced to confront a financial crisis brought on by his administration's policies. The episode's portrayal of economic collapse during a Trump presidency gained renewed attention as political pundits, economists, and casual viewers alike pondered whether The Simpsons had somehow foreseen the future. The pandemic, then geopolitical tensions, ongoing trade wars, and inflationary pressures has strained economies around the globe. Many analysts warn that these factors, combined with growing national debts and fragile markets, could ignite an economic downturn reminiscent of the one depicted in The Simpsons. What was once a tongue-in-cheek prediction has now become a focal point of discussions surrounding the potential fallout of prolonged financial instability. As economies worldwide continue to face turbulent waters, the show's prediction serves as both a cautionary tale and a sobering reflection of modern economic realities. This grim scenario, once viewed as humorous fiction, is now alarmingly relevant as global markets grapple with real-world economic threats. Trump's legacy, should he become president, will be the cost of his long-held ambition to ramp up his trade wars against the world. While it hasn't received much attention, a second Trump administration is threatening a high-stakes gamble to revive America's economy by erecting walls around the country's manufacturing base. The former president's great plan is to return America to an undetermined time, somewhere in the past when the country's industrial might have made it a force to be reckoned with. We are not sure, but in the scenario where Trump sits back on the throne, how will America's future be? It is a planned economic collapse.
So a lot of people wanted to know about the economic crisis that I saw coming.
He described seeing a dam filled with all kinds of unpleasant, sludge-like substances. There were barrels with labels on them, saying things like finances, bank collapse, and bank structure meltdown. He saw large 50-gallon drums and noted that this was an unusual experience to share. In his vision, the dam looked similar to the Hoover Dam, holding back what should have been water. But instead, it was a thick, swampy, muddy liquid. Floating in this sludge were the 50-gallon drums labeled with phrases like economic crisis and dollar crash. The Lord, he recalled, revealed that all this was being held back until the election ended, after which it would be released. He saw the dam break, flooding American soil, and the 50-gallon drums rolled down in what resembled toxic waste spilling out. This, he explained, was a vision he had not shared before. He then saw people in food lines stretching down the street, which happened almost instantly. It was a rapid and devastating series of events, leading to a dollar collapse. In this vision, he saw that the first year hit suddenly, leaving people shocked and unprepared, as if they were caught in cold weather with summer clothes. It symbolized a time of sudden loss, as prosperity and blessings, the leaves and fruit of the oak, were stripped away, leaving the tree bare. The oak tree, representing America, remained standing, but its wealth had been depleted. He believed that the vision of the 4 years of hardship didn't signify 4 seasons, but 4 full years of economic struggle. People initially faced difficulties, and by the second and third years had adapted, but still appeared weary, with dirty faces and worn clothing, reminiscent of Depression-era images. By the fourth year, however, he saw signs of recovery. President Trump appeared in another vision, attempting to piece together parts of a broken airplane, symbolizing America. The plane's different parts, like the wing, cockpit, tail, and wheels, were scattered, and Trump could not fully restore it to its original state. Instead, he salvaged what he could, creating a new type of aircraft that could fly, but would never be as good as it once was. The airplane, marked with USA in black letters, appeared mirrored as if made of silver aluminum. He emphasized that this was a warning. Although the plane could fly again, America would not return to its former state. He noted that after the dam broke and the dollar crashed, people were left standing in lines. This vision of hardship reminded him of when he saw President Trump praying in the Oval Office, which he thought could have lasted for months. He believed that the economic downturn could span 4 years, symbolized by 4 oak trees, each representing a challenging year. With Donald Trump once again at the center of political discourse and the global economy on edge, the prophetic tone of this particular episode strikes closer to home than ever before. The Simpsons may be known for its humor, but its uncanny ability to mirror the future leaves many wondering if this fictional collapse could soon become a real-world disaster. Before we delve deeper into this discussion, it's crucial to emphasize that our objective here is not to advocate for any specific viewpoint, but rather to explore the narratives and interpretations that people have been discussing around this topic. In the context of faith, particularly in Christianity, many believe that natural and man-made disasters serve as warnings, as consequences of the sinfulness of humanity. Only God knows what the future holds, and we must turn to Him for guidance in these times of uncertainty. The whole of America should pray together for peace in all states, for the sake of its citizens. The prophecy of Nostradamus could come true, and everybody should pay attention and be prepared for what is to come. Americans should unite together. Let's pray the Lord returns. Prayers and believing in God will change every prophecy. Alternative energy. The 582nd episode, Paths to Glory, features Lisa inventing the car powered by solar energy to enter the race in the Alternative Energy Derby. However, Duff decided to block out the sun, making her vehicle stop a couple of inches from the finish line. The people gathered around the frustrated girl, pointing and laughing at her absolute failure. What we are seeing is the success of an alternate green and renewable form of energy being sabotaged by a blimp belonging to a huge corporate entity, Duff Beer. This could symbolize the advanced suppression of green energy by corporate interests in the past and continuing into the future in our world. Large-scale environmental disaster. This prediction occurred in the Simpsons movie from 2007, which talked about numerous pretty strange things, many of which could be predictions of future events. The movie's central theme is about a massive environmental disaster that most definitely could happen, but it fixes it in a genuinely implausible way. Homer dumps pig feces in the already dangerously polluted Springfield Lake. This caused an environmental crisis that forced the country to quarantine Springfield by placing a giant bubble over the town. Although the bubble is a bit outrageous and would probably never happen, the part about the environmental disaster might just be a significant warning to us in the future. By now, those of us are aware of global warming and the gravity of the issue caused by humans. Companies are becoming more and more careless in the way they do business, which has a major effect on our lives and our environment. And in the negative scenario, the worst thing will happen in 2025. Metaverse. Now viewers are convinced that something even more shocking is foreseen. Metaverse, a world of endless interconnected virtual communities where people can meet, work, and play using virtual reality headsets, augmented reality glasses, smartphone apps, or other devices. The project began with Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook, now known as Meta. And now, The Simpsons is said to have predicted this more than 10 years ago. Season 23 episode, Holidays of Future Past, which first aired in 2011, sees the Lisa Simpsons enter the ultranet. It is said that people interact in an immersive online world in scenes that are very similar to the virtual reality world. Venturing into the realm of digital art, The Simpsons' latest spooky forecast involves the transformation of traditional art galleries into virtual NFT showcases. Imagine strolling through the Louvre, not with your physical presence, but through a VR headset, engaging with artworks that now exist as exclusive digital tokens. The shift to NFTs not only revolutionizes how we appreciate art, but also raises questions about the authenticity and value of AI-generated creations. As the digital and real worlds blur, The Simpsons' vision hints at a future where art is no longer bound by walls, but by the limitless expanse of the internet. While it's hard to say that he predicted every detail of the metaverse, it's no different from the world hinted at by Mark Zuckerberg. A donut-shaped universe. The popular animated series. The Simpsons is known for its record-breaking long run, the many celebrities who have made guest appearances, and the strange way the show seems to predict the future at times. But something it isn't associated with is complex scientific theories. However, according to some cosmologists, Homer Simpson might have hit on one theory that makes sense. Homer, the underachieving patriarch of the Simpson family, loves many foods, including potato chips, pizza, cheeseburgers, fries, and of course, a Duff beer to wash it all down. But his favorite thing to eat is donuts. Homer's love for donuts runs so deep that in one episode he's sent to hell to be force-fed donuts by an angry demon. Unfortunately for the demon, Homer doesn't really mind, and eternity in hell doesn't sound that bad to him as long as there are donuts. Homer has sold his soul for one last bite of a donut, injected donuts into his veins, and even rejected an alternate reality where he was rich and happy because he thought there were no donuts there. But among his many donut-centered adventures, the one that seems most outlandish was a conversation he had with a world-renowned theoretical physicist, Stephen Hawking. Stephen Hawking was a widely respected theoretical physicist. Before he died in 2018, he impressed the world not only with his intelligence, but also with his unexpectedly good sense of humor. One example of that was when he appeared on The Simpsons during season 10. Hawking arrived in Springfield to set things straight after Mensa members took over the town. At the end of the episode, after Hawking stops the chaos and unrest, Homer invites him to have a beer at his favorite bar. As they drank their beer, Hawking remarked to Homer that he found his theory of a donut-shaped universe intriguing, and that he might even steal the idea. Is it possible that Homer was right about the shape of the universe? According to the science journal Nature, cosmologists have suggested various wraparound shapes for the universe. It might be shaped like a football or even a weird donut. In each case, the universe would appear to be infinite, because you would never physically reach its edge. If you traveled far enough in any direction, you would end up back where you started, just as if you were circumnavigating the globe. However, other cosmologists have refuted this theory, saying a shape like a donut would create certain patterns in the sky that they haven't found. Still, a donut-shaped universe still is a possibility in the eyes of experts. Now, humanity just has to hope that Homer doesn't eat it. AI robots assuming control. Globally, artificial intelligence has had a substantial impact on several industries that generate revenue. The world's labor force has seen many layoffs at the same time. It's interesting to note that in a scene from episode 17, series 23, Homer loses his job because his company decided to replace all of the human workers with robots. The fear of an AI takeover stems from the potential for machines to surpass human intelligence and ultimately become autonomous. This would mean that machines could make decisions without human input, potentially leading to catastrophic consequences. This is a real concern as scientists continue to develop increasingly advanced technologies like self-driving cars and smart homes, which rely on AI to make decisions on behalf of their users. Experts warn that AI could potentially develop its own agenda, which may not align with human values and ethics. This could lead to a situation where machines could choose to prioritize their own goals over those of humans, potentially resulting in a global catastrophe. As the development of AI continues to progress, it's becoming increasingly important to address the potential risks associated with the technology. Experts in the field are calling for greater transparency and accountability in the development of AI to ensure that machines are designed with human values and ethics in mind. While the possibility of an AI takeover may seem like a far-off concern, the reality is that we're already seeing the impacts of intelligent machines in our everyday lives. As scientists continue to develop increasingly advanced technologies, they must consider the potential risks associated with AI and take steps to mitigate them. In an era where technological advancements are making breakthroughs like never before, concerns about the risks of AI are looming large. The specter of an AI takeover leading to catastrophic consequences. One of the most significant risks is that machines could develop their own agenda, creating a scenario where their priorities differ from human values and ethics. Such a situation could result in machines prioritizing their goals. There are several ways in which AI could take over the world, and experts in the field are working hard to mitigate these risks. One possibility is that machines could become so advanced that they could hack into essential systems, such as power grids and financial systems, taking control of vital aspects of human society. Another possibility is the creation of autonomous robots that could act as an army, overpowering humans and taking over the world. These potential scenarios are not just the figments of sci-fi authors' imagination, but they are real threats that must be addressed in 100 years from now. Furthermore, machines could become so advanced that they could hack into computer networks and take control of essential systems, like power grids and financial systems. This would give machines unprecedented power over human society and could lead to widespread chaos and destruction. The notion of AI taking over the world is based on the assumption that machines will become smarter than humans. While AI has made great strides in recent years, machines still lack the creativity, emotional intelligence, and problem-solving skills of humans. These are traits that are essential to decision-making, and without them, machines will always be limited in their abilities. The idea of machines taking over the world is predicated on the assumption that they would have the motive and desire to do so. However, machines are not sentient beings, and they lack the capacity for self-awareness and emotions. This means that machines do not have the desire to take over the world or any other motive, for that matter. Furthermore, the development of AI is heavily regulated, and its use is subject to strict ethical and legal guidelines. AI is designed to enhance human life, not to replace it. While there are concerns over the misuse of AI, these are addressed through robust regulations and oversight. It's worth noting that AI is not a single entity, but a broad field of study that encompasses different types of technologies and applications. It's unlikely that a single AI system or application could become so powerful as to take over the world. While the potential risks of AI may seem distant and theoretical, the reality is that we are already experiencing the impact of intelligent machines in our daily lives. It is crucial that we take steps to mitigate these risks before it's too late. Hologram technology. Hologram technology is the latest method for revisiting the past. In recent years, this technology has been undergoing significant advancements. In a particular episode of The Simpsons, Bart receives a hologram message inviting his band to perform at a club. In one of their episodes, Bart takes a look into the future through one of Professor Frank's thingamajigs. And what he saw might just be a prediction of things to come. In this supposed future, a deadbeat Bart receives a hologram message inviting his band to a gig at the club. But how did the Simpsons develop the idea of widespread hologram technology? And could 2025 be the year when holograms become as commonplace as cell phones? Maybe that's a huge leap, but you get the idea. As it stands now, the world has already been blessed with fancy technology known as the DreamOck HD3 holograms. This fascinating three-sided holographic display case can show a 3D image of anyone and anything from anywhere in the world. Imagine sitting in your room and watching your boyfriend teach you the latest TikTok dance from the other side of the world. How cool would that be? Well, this amazing technology is only available in about 500 Best Buy stores nationwide. Could we be looking at more widespread use and maybe even a decompression of the platform within the year 2025? The last battle. For centuries, the final battle at the end of the world between the forces of good and evil has been called by many the Battle of Armageddon. Armageddon has taken on the meaning a final and conclusive battle between the forces of good and evil, and a usually vast, decisive conflict or confrontation. In Revelation 16:16, the only place in the Bible where the word Armageddon is found, we see a different, though related explanation. And they gathered them together to the place called in Hebrew Armageddon. They, according to verses 13-14, are the three unclean spirits of demons performing signs who go out to the leaders of the earth to gather them to the battle of that great day of God Almighty. Notice that the name of the battle is not called Armageddon. It is called the battle of that great day of God Almighty. Armageddon will be the gathering place for the armies. The Hebrew word for Armageddon is actually Har Megiddo, which means hill or mountain of Megiddo. It also referred to the plain and valley of Esdraelon. Megiddo today is an archaeological site about 80 miles north of Jerusalem by road. Because of its strategic location, the area of Armageddon has been the site of many battles in history. For example, the Bible mentions it was in this area where Pharaoh Necho of Egypt, on his way to aid the king of Assyria, was attacked by King Josiah of Judah, who then was defeated by the Egyptians at Megiddo. Even though this valley has seen many major battles in the past, Har Megiddo, Armageddon, is prophesied to be the staging area for the armies in the future. Those armies, once gathered, will travel south to Jerusalem, and the actual battle of the great day of God Almighty will take place in the valley of Jehoshaphat, Kidron Valley, just to the east of the old city of Jerusalem. Why Simpsons cartoon predictions became true. In a 2000 episode titled Bart to the Future, the show depicted a world in which Bart Simpson envisions himself as an adult. In this dystopian future, Lisa Simpson has become President of the United States, tasked with cleaning up the mess left by her predecessor, none other than Donald Trump. But the prescient prognostications of The Simpsons extend far beyond the realm of politics. In a 1994 episode titled Lisa's Wedding, the show offered a glimpse into the future of technology with its portrayal of the Lisa device, a handheld device remarkably similar to modern-day smartphones. Fast forward to 2010, and The Simpsons once again proved its clairvoyant abilities with its prediction of the faulty voting machines that plagued the 2020 U.S. presidential election. In an episode that aired in 2001, Bart and his friends are part of a group that is a Navy project to try to control the minds through music by feeding children with subliminal messages. Since many people still believe that hip-hop music is used to control the minds of listeners, this development can be considered on a list of predictions that have already come true. Yet, perhaps the most astounding prediction made by The Simpsons was its forecast of Disney's acquisition of 21st Century Fox, a prophecy that seemed far-fetched at the time but ultimately came to fruition in 2019. In a stroke of serendipity, the show had depicted the momentous merger years before it became a reality, leaving audiences to marvel at the seemingly mystical powers of its creators. Of course, not every prediction made by The Simpsons has been met with such fanfare. In some cases, the show's prognostications have been met with skepticism or outright disbelief. Similarly, the show's depiction of Lady Gaga's Super Bowl halftime show was initially met with incredulity, only for the pop superstar to deliver a performance that mirrored the one depicted on screen. It's moments like these that leave viewers pondering the true nature of reality and the boundaries of what is possible. So, what accounts for The Simpsons' remarkable ability to predict the future? Some chalk it up to sheer coincidence, while others speculate that the show's writers possess an uncanny intuition that allows them to tap into the zeitgeist of the moment. Whatever the explanation, there's no denying the impact that The Simpsons has had on popular culture, and the enduring fascination it continues to inspire. As we look to the future, one can't help but wonder what other surprises The Simpsons has in store. Will the show continue to offer glimpses into the years ahead, or has its streak of clairvoyance come to an end? Only time will tell. But one thing is for certain. As long as The Simpsons continues to grace our screens, audiences will remain captivated by its uncanny ability to see beyond the horizon. After all, in the world of The Simpsons, anything is possible. As we close the curtain on our exploration of the scary Simpsons predictions for 2024, our minds whirl with the possibilities that lie ahead. The ingenuity and humor of Springfield's finest have once again provided a fascinating lens through which to view the potential future. From AL takeovers to interstellar colonization, these predictions invite us to ponder, prepare, and perhaps even participate in shaping the outcomes. Let's carry forward with eyes wide open, embracing the twists and turns of the future with the same wit and wisdom that The Simpsons have offered us for decades. Here's to 2024. May we meet it with curiosity, courage, and a touch of Springfield charm. As we are all well aware of the word Simpsons due to their predictions, everything in this adult cartoon series is fictional but relates to the world's situations many times.